Welcome in, Bears fans, football fans, sports fans, life fans. Wherever you're listening today, this is the CHGO Bears podcast as we move into July. That's right, 31 days, 8 hours, and a handful of minutes till they kick it off at the Hall of Fame game, Bears and Texans. And we are, Nick, 69 days. What are you smiling at? 69 days.
Nice.
Until the home opener. What's your favorite 69? I mean, who? Like what Bear?
Wow, now I'm really thrown off right now.
I did everything I could to throw you off to start the show.
You definitely did. I can't give you an answer to that, but I'm just the details, Mark. You were counting down the days. You're so excited over there.
I am. Well, we're going to talk some Caleb today because why not? Shout out Henry Melton, our guy who was in studio with us. There's a good 69 for you. We all love our 69s. Jatiri Carter.
Jared Allen was a 69 for a little bit.
Jared Allen was a 69. Rashad Coward, who can forget? A lot of Bears. There's a lot of Texans Bears connections actually that we'll get into today a little bit here as we do some history of number one pick quarterbacks and how they started their careers and sort of laying out some of the challenges historically that Caleb will be up against that don't really matter, but it is kind of interesting to look back and see how guys did. Mm-hmm. Thank you, first of all, for everyone who's here. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're here with you Monday through Friday at noon, pre and post whenever the Bears are playing, and, of course, whenever there's any breaking news. We also greatly appreciate the support over the weekend for the incident on the escalator at American Family Field up in Milwaukee. Greg Braggs is going to join the show at about 12:40 today. We'll just check in with Braggs and see how he's doing. But, Nick, you were on the escalator, and you are here and doing the show and looking lovely, but that had to be damn ass scary. So good to see you in all you're looking at. And shout out to some of our guys who are not doing as well, but still I think everyone is recovering nicely.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Braggs put it perfectly in his tweet that he had yesterday. Like, we're just kind of lucky to be in the position that we are right now because it could have been a lot worse. And I guess going back, the escalator is, I guess, just a lot bigger than what I even remembered. But we'll bring on Braggs later in the show. We'll talk about it. But here doing well. Start off July right, and talk some Bears.
Yeah, I was so mad at the Cubs that after they're watching Pete Crow Armstrong get a late break and come in and miss a short fly ball in center field, and Justin Steele's freaking out, that I decided to take the stairs down to the dugout in about the fifth inning to yell at the Cubs. So I'd like credit on a lighter note for the Cubs actually getting their one victory up in Milwaukee. But just, afterwards it was like, we're sitting at the bus, like, where is everybody? And then, Cody got on. It's like, I hear that Braggs is not okay. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, there was, and then I called him and.
Freak accident. I mean, it's the freak. I didn't even know escalators can even I don't know. You just never expect things like that because they're so routine in everyday life. Like anywhere you go to an airport, you go to a mall, you go to a baseball game. Like you're gonna take an escalator most likely at some point. But
yeah, it's all right. So Braggs is coming up.
Yep.
We're gonna talk in about 10 minutes here. There was the big lawsuit with the NFL and television that I want to touch on. But let's settle in here to a little Caleb talk. And so you have to go back to 2002. The Houston Texans were making their debut as a franchise. And they were playing the Dallas Cowboys at Reliant Stadium in Houston.
Wow. Yep.
All right. The Cowboys were bad. Quincy Carter was the quarterback. It was the Texans' first home game since 96 when, of course, they were the Oilers and left for Tennessee and all that. And that day, the Texans became just the second expansion team to win their debut. Bears always have a connection here. Joining the 61 Vikings who beat the Bears.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So David Carr, touchdown pass to Corey Bradford, 65-yarder that put the Texans ahead for good. And that is your last rookie who won his debut. David Carr in a 19-10 win over the Cowboys on a Texans team that finished 4-12. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of list off some of the other guys that were number 1 overall picks that have obviously played. Carson Palmer, 2003, lost 31-24. Eli Manning, the following year, 2004, 31-17 loss. Alex Smith, 42-3. That's not a good one. Jamarcus Russell, he was a quarterback at one time. 49-11 loss. Matthew Stafford, 45-27. Sam Bradford, 17-13 loss in his debut in 2010. Cam Newton in 2011, 28-21 loss. Andrew Luck, 2012. Who was that loss to? The Chicago Bears, 41-21. Take that, Andrew Luck. Jameis Winston, 2015. You have a 33-13 loss. Jared Goff in 2016, 14-10. Baker Mayfield putting up points in his loss, 45-42. Kyler Murray in 2019 was a 27-27 tie. So no victory for you, Kyler Murray, against the Detroit Lions. Joe Burrow in 2020 was a 16-13 loss. Trevor Lawrence in 2021, 37-21. And then Bryce Young, a 24-10 loss in 2023.
So to underline here, we have Super Bowl winners and Super Bowl participants in here.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Burrow, who you mentioned in 2020, lost his first game 16-13. Joe Burrow's record his first year, 2-7-1. Yep. Jared Goff played in the Super Bowl. Lions
not very good.
Should have gone this year. Could have gone this year. Jared Goff, 2016 record 0-7. All right. Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champion, long time with Detroit. Record that year, 2009 as a rookie, 2-8. Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-7 as a rookie. Okay. And I'm not doing this to say that Caleb is going to have some 2-7 season or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I do think, as the elder statesman on the show, it is important to remind myself and then remind you and then remind Steven and then remind Mr. Sinister, Noah D, Bo Chanton, Nathaniel B, that if Caleb does what we want him to do, have an Andrew Luck style 2012 year. Luck went 11-5. And that is, from all the number 1 quarterbacks, that is the only one drafted number 1 overall who finished over 500. Baker Mayfield in 2018 was 7-7 as a starter. Andrew Luck, 2012, the only number 1 overall pick dating back to 2001, Michael Vick, 2-6 with the Falcons, that went over 500.
I think, Mark, this tells you a couple things. Obviously, you know, at the time when these quarterbacks were getting drafted, all very talented players, all worthy of that number 1 overall pick. Hindsight, obviously, you go back on a lot of these picks, I would think. But also, it matters what team you're going to. And, you know, most teams that get the number 1 overall pick get it because of what happened, obviously, the previous season. The roster's not in place. You obviously have drastic holes all over it. Caleb Williams, and look, I would have to go deep dive into all of these, but Caleb Williams is going into a really good situation with the Bears in terms of just the weapons. Yes, you want to see what Shane Walter can do with the offense. You have a defense that definitely made strides in the second half of the season once they got Montez Sweat. So there are pieces in place that if we were to really go back and look at all of these quarterbacks' individual rosters at that time that they were drafted to them, I mean, I think more times than not, you're probably going to want to take that Bears roster because of just, again, the pieces that are in place and how you can build a foundation for a young QB.
Bears are favored in the game. I forgot what we say, 4.5 point favorite in the game. And the Bears over-under on July the 1st, again, 69 powerful days until the opener. The Bears over-under is sitting at 8.5. So right on the old 500 line.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't moved.
No.
Bear money coming in.
Mark.
Still sitting there. I wonder if it's going to tick up. Or
I'm still sticking at my 10.
Okay.
I'm still staying there,
Okay.
man.
No,
I'm not moving.
Yeah. Well,
not inching off of it.
Listen, how's this? Opening up with the Titans. If Greg Braggs was on the show, which you will be at 12:40. If you look at them, 6-11 last year in the AFC South. Derrick Henry out the door. You know, you want to get to those 9 wins?
Got to get one over here.
Feels like a must win. Got to beat the Titans. Got to have it. Week 1 at home. Can't lose it. I believe that take was on this show before.
I believe so.
They've added Calvin Ridley. They've added Tony Pollard. They've added L'Jarius Sneed. They first-round draft pick J.C. Latham. Out the door, Derrick Henry. And also, of course, coaching change. Mike Vrabel out. Brian Callahan is in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, there's that Titans team. Their strength is their secondary. So it's going to be a good matchup against what is one of the biggest strengths on this Bears team, their wide receiver core. So seeing Sneed, Chidobe Akuzi, and then Roger McCreary go against the Bears trio of wide receivers, that's going to be a good matchup. And then you have to see the weakness I see right now, super early, obviously July 1st, the offensive line for the Titans. It's a lot of almost kind of like the Bears. There's question marks at the right guard position, right tackle still in question for them. J.C. Latham is playing, who played on the right side, is now playing on the left side. It's a left tackle position. So there's you got to figure it out. But also the Bears defensive line has Montez Sweat, hopefully a bigger leap from Jervon Dexter in year 2 to Marcus Walker. So they have to take advantage of that.
well, I'm glad you mentioned DeMarcus Walker because, on July 1st, 69 days away from the opener here, not enough people are talking about, and that includes you, Steven. Yeah. Not enough people are talking about the fact that this is the DeMarcus Walker revenge game.
Nobody's mentioned that until
it's
just
the Kevin
now.
Byard revenge game, too.
That, too. We got Walker. We
Nate
got
Davis.
We got 3 revenge games plus Caleb against the Titans. I mean, mark it down, Doug. This is Bears are coming to play. Can you imagine Nate Davis before the game standing there in the locker room saying, I am not going to lose to the Tennessee Titans? Can you imagine the fight? DeMarcus Walker loves to talk. Can you imagine him in that D-line room just maybe doing a little bit of just a growl a la John Schifrin out of nowhere? We're going to, something along those lines. I can see DeMarcus Walker doing that.
I thought when you were bringing up Nate Davis, you were going to say, I'm not going to play this game. I thought that's what you were going to go with this. Like, ooh, you might be.
Yeah. So, I mean,
wow.
that I think, that might have been Schifrin, but it also could be Nate Davis 69 days from now. Look, the point of bringing all this up, if Caleb does what he's damn ass going to do this year, it's borderline. If you combine it all together, it would be if he wins week 1 and finishes over 500, hasn't been done in 25 plus years. Okay. I mean, and by the way, as we wrap up this topic, just a reminder. Last time the Bears had a number 1 overall pick, I will always and forever remember Bob Fenimore, 1947. Fenimore should be a diehard, even though he has left the building, and R.I.P. to Bob and his family. But the dude was unbelievable in college, or pretty good. He finished he finished 3rd in the Heisman voting in 45. Oh. Got injured in 46. Of course, the brilliant Bears drafted him in 47 despite the injuries. Dude played 10 games. So as far as high as the bar is set to be over 500 and whatnot, as far as being the greatest number 1 overall pick in the history of the Bears, I'm going to take my chances that Caleb's going to do that.
Yeah, there's a pretty low bar set there, and you play 11 games. You're already meeting that expectation there.
And, it wasn't Bob's fault that Bob got hurt. And, this is not a shot at Bob, but this is Bears history. Yeah. Had the first pick at 47, dude played 10 games. Fenimore.
God, that is so disappointing if you're the Bears fan base in 1947, wanting that number 1 overall pick to be successful.
It was tough for all of us. Believe me. We can talk about how 47 went for me after the show. But all right. let us put that conversation to bed. And let us tell you about our friends at ComEd. It is getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
That's right, Carm. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So, Nick, what should business owners do?
They should go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, and good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Nick, did you just say ComEd.com/clean?
That's exactly what I said. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come. We just talked about ComEd. You know what I also want to talk about here, Mark?
I got an idea, Nick.
I think it's Shady Rays. You can get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably also have a style in your favorite team's colors. I always leave a pair of Shady Rays in my car. Never know what I'm going to do, but I know that Shady Rays has my back. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades for some reason, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal this season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right. So, couple of things as we move along here. Number one, very excited to shout out our Diehards coming up a little bit later in the show, so stay tuned for that, damn it. And I think it's important for us all to just settle in. The training camp is starting. Bears are reporting in 19 days, Nick. 19.
Exciting times. Very exciting.
It is.
Not as exciting as the 69 days away from, Bears football, but 19 is still a good number.
We're moving. So, all right. One of the big pieces of news that came out last Thursday after we were off the air, and I just think it's interesting, so I want to bring it to the table here. So a jury in the U.S. District Court, stay with me here, Bears fans, you got this. They ordered the NFL to pay $4.7 billion in damage, ruling that the league violated antitrust laws in distributing out-of-market Sunday afternoon games on a premium subscription service. Those were supposed to be not paid for, and the league took advantage of football fans.
How dare they?
2.4 million residential subscribers, to be exact. 48,000 businesses. This was all started, by the way, this lawsuit was started by my guy at the Mucky Duck Sports Bar in San Francisco back in 2015. Way to go, Mucky Duck. You weren't going to take this BS. You knew you had a case.
You're a mighty duck, mucky duck.
You weren't a mucky duck. You were a mighty duck with a point, and you were going to take on the big bad NFL, Mucky Duck.
Quack.
That case was dismissed in 2017, but it was brought back, civil, and of course the NFL is like saying, yeah, nah. We're not paying, not doing it. Lawsuit once again claiming that the league broke antitrust laws by selling its package of Sunday games at an inflated price. Subscribers also say the league restricted competition by offering Sunday ticket only on a satellite provider. Now, if the NFL loses, by the way, it's $449.6 million a team on the $4.7 billion, $449.6 million that the McCaskies will have to locate. Probably in their left pocket, could be in the right pocket, but either one.
It's insane.
But so where I think this is interesting for you, hippie nerd, and you, Edward, and you, Rhyme, and you, Chim, and we can all be in this together. Chim, Lions, we're all football fans here. Your boy Boogie. What is the line for you? Is what I want to ask. Like, if Thursday night football was just something you had to pay for separately. Like right now, Amazon Prime, a lot of Prime subscribers. I have Amazon Prime. I'd love to go to Whole Foods with my Prime, whatnot, stuff shipped to me, so I get it.
Yep.
But if you didn't have it separately, would you pay for Thursday night football? You two, Bear Down Omaha. Like, would you pay for that? Would you pay for Sunday night football? Would you pay for Monday night football? Are you going to pay for, like, at what point is there a line that you will not cross? No, I won't. Like Thursday, let me just ask you, Nick. Thursday night, are you just that package? It's separate. You got to pay for it. You're a huge football fan. You do a Bears podcast. Are you paying for that?
I mean, out of all the primetime games, that's the one I'm most likely not to pay for. Because it's usually, the games are not as high quality as, Sunday night or Monday night. So if the Bears aren't playing and given the workload during the week, I don't even really catch them live. So no, I wouldn't be paying for Thursday night football.
Steven, are you paying for Thursday night football?
I am not. Not even $1.
Okay, and this is interesting. So Jim Cook, sales guy here, I won't pay to watch preseason football. Your boy Boogie, I'm only paying to watch the Bears play. Crystal, diehard, my softball hero now, I'm not paying to watch my football team.
This is getting a lot different reaction than I thought it would actually get going into this conversation.
Right. And so then I was asking that question before the show. I'll ask it again here, and we can ask it in the chat. Let's just say it goes this way, which is possible. I think it'd be incredibly stupid for the NFL, and I think it's incredible. Like, the Phoenix Suns just put their games on free TV. It's great marketing for the Phoenix Suns. It makes the Suns brand larger. The reason why the Cubs were the Cubs is because they were at 120. There were no other baseball games on WGN across the country, and they played at Wrigley Field. This beautiful green grass and ivy, and everybody came home and saw the Cubs. Didn't matter that they sucked and hadn't won a World Series since 1908. And then you had Harry Carey selling the product. It was phenomenal, and everybody flocked to the ballpark. It didn't matter whether they won or lost. People wanted to be there. It was phenomenal advertising. It's a lot different right now on Marquee. It could be the same thing for the NFL. If you made Bears fans pay $20 a game, all right, you got to pay $20 to watch the Bears in 69 days. Bears Titans, are you doing it?
Now that is something I'm watching all the Bears games. I'm not missing a game. So I would be paying for that.
I'm putting it at $20. So for 17 games, I'll say the preseason's including that. You're paying $340 for the season. $340. That's not nothing. Are you doing that?
So if I'm not covering the team, I'm just watching the games on Sundays. I'm getting some buddies. We're going to my wherever, and yeah, I'm definitely doing that. I'm not missing a Bears game. Probably Greg Braggs already. Probably like, is that even a question? Of course.
Braggs would probably pay $200 a game. Yeah. He probably would. I'm not even kidding. I think he would. And there's a bunch of Bears fans that would do that. And there's a lot more that wouldn't. So,
like Steven was saying, go to a bar.
I'm going to a bar. I'm not paying a penny to watch what I've gotten accustomed to watching for free. I'll go to the bar. I'll get a couple drinks. I'll order a pizza, whatever, and I'll do it that way.
But so that's the thing, right? Like, I get it. You're getting extra value there. Now you have a couple of drinks and you have food. But if you do go to a bar, likely you're spending more. You're paying $18 for a chicken sandwich. You're paying $7 for a Miller Lite. You're paying, this is just delicious Miller Lite, by the way. This is what it is. So there's not really, and they have us. I get it. We love it. I love it. And then what did I just see? $350 is the Sunday ticket price from Logan. And hippie nerd saying he spends $400 a year, on football easily. And this is just it's going further and further and further. And I've sat in front of this microphone and any microphone I can find for that record. Like this goes back, a decade. I've been screaming at people, stop buying the at one time $6 beer, $8 beer, $10 beer, and now all y'all are paying $14 a beer. You just do it. It's like, I put it on the credit card. I don't think about it. I'm here. I'm gonna have a good time. Period. I'm paying that price. So I mean, it's like it's more than climbing uphill.
And those are the prices now, Mark. I mean, what are those prices going to look like 5 years from now? Because they know they have the demand. Because NFL fans are going to get their football any way they can. They're going to pay those prices regardless of what they skyrocket to because it's the NFL. Like, they almost own the entire calendar year. Like, there's always something going on. But when it comes to games, and there's so, I don't know, you only have so many, right? Like, it makes sense why people pay what they pay because of the product that the NFL puts out every season.
Yeah, and I do, though, think that ultimately there is a line. Like, they can keep on pushing it here. But if you told, like, even the Christmas games on Netflix, like, I would expect those numbers to be vastly diminished. Hey, man, it's Christmas. My family's here. I'm more than happy to watch A Christmas Miracle for the 7 zillionth time versus paying to get Netflix for
I think it's like $18 now or something like a month. Like it's definitely gone up.
Out for football games out of my market that whatever. I know how I'll do this, which I've for years now I've paid for NFL Plus where I can see literally every game the next day. So that way, for me doing this job, I can watch I can watch 5 30-minute or 48-minute condensed games if I want in a day to,
get caught up with
read the game story. And so I feel like I'm caught up and I've seen mostly what I need to see. But, and Rhyme Mariner is saying the NFL should offer your single team only games like MLB TV $99 a season. Maybe they will. But it's just it's interesting to me that the NFL is fighting this, and of course they are. And so, when this thing will ever end, and when will the 2.4 million residential subscribers get their $63 check for this thing, and when will the Mucky Duck Sports Bar get paid?
I'm looking forward to when the Mucky Ducks get their money.
I mean, I'd be happy to come over and next time I'm in, is the Mucky Duck Sports Bar still in business? Does anybody know? Has anybody been to the Mucky Duck Sports Bar?
That'd be amazing if someone in our chat's like, yeah, that place is rocking.
Mucky Duck Sports Bar. I should have looked this up beforehand.
Where's that again?
Mucky Duck Pub.
Indiana?
And that's Indianapolis. That ain't it.
Oh, looking up the wrong one.
Yeah.
Mucky Ducks.
Mucky Duck.
Us.
1315 9th Avenue, San Francisco. You're getting free pub from me, buddy, Mucky Duck.
What are the ratings
Yelp
on the
review
Mucky
highlights.
Duck?
If you've been to the Mucky Duck and Katie was your bartender, that's the reason enough to go there. That's a little bit little too Katie sexist there, buddy. But I like this one. I frequent this place quite often for the darts, free popcorn, and good times at the Mucky Duck.
Ooh, free popcorn.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Get free popcorn at the
Not
Mucky
much of
Duck.
a darts player, but
yeah,
could be fun. Mucky Duck.
Mucky Duck. All right. MuckyDuckPub.com.
For what it's worth, our chat voted on the poll, and 44% of them said no, they would not pay. 31% said yes, and 25% said yes, but only for the Bears.
Me and Edward together again. Edward, miraculously, I agree with cramps and have an NFL Plus subscription. Love watching all 22 games. Thank you, buddy.
Wow.
I knew we'd come together, Edward. I think I've told you 100 times that eventually you'll love me.
Film junkie, Edward. I like it.
Yeah,
there with you.
There you go. Working hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us let you know about something very important. My taste buds are alive. It is grilling season. Get your pork. People who are active, like me, they need more protein than the average American. Big softball game tonight. We'll talk about that in a second. In fact, by the way, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, Dietitians of Canada, American College of Sports Medicine recommend 1.2 to 2.0 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for athletes, depending on your training. So for a 150-pound person like Greg Braggs, that's about 81 to 136 grams of protein per day. The International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends that people who are involved in a general fitness program or who are interested in optimizing their health eat low fat, as Braggs gets himself in phenomenal shape. It's a high-quality source of protein, which include lean cuts of pork. Greg's coming up, by the way. Our friend Grillin' with Dad was here recently, and that was flat out delicious. His recipes from the Illinois pork, that was a phenomenal visit. Thank you for coming by here, Grillin' with Dad. Elevate your protein game with lean pork. It's a powerhouse of natural goodness. Savor the flavor, savor the gains, and celebrate any occasion by enjoying the best pork produced by the Illinois pig farmers. From your sausage and bacon for breakfast to pulled pork or juicy chops hot off the grill, it's an entire season dedicated to pork and the people behind the product. This is paid for by the Illinois pork producers' generations of commitment.
Love the Illinois pork, and I also love CIRCA Sportsbook there, Mark. They have tight money line splits in the low hold model. Games will strive to be minus 110 split on the CIRCA Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which may use minus 115 or even minus 120 splits. CIRCA Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to some of those other books. And they also have high app limits and transparency. CIRCA Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other books who do limit winning players. And look, CIRCA, they encourage bettors to download and explore all the other sports betting apps available. Compare the lines from each sports book. You'll see for yourself. And CIRCA also has the best customer service. There are real people behind the CIRCA Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion. Unlike other books who use chatbots, all aspects of the app are being run by the same team that run the main CIRCA Sportsbook at CIRCA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. Look, download the CIRCA Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for CIRCA events, watch parties, and tailgates. They're with us for all the Cubs Friday 120 clubs. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
All right, Bragg's coming up in a few here, and Gregory never likes to talk stadium, so I have 3 minutes to get in some stadium talk before Braggs gets involved. So this came out over the weekend as well. Missouri Governor Mike Parson, this is actually last Thursday, Missouri. He says he expects the state to put together a plan by the end of the year, so he's got a little bit of time, to try to keep the Chiefs and the Royals from being lured to Kansas. All right? Missouri's renewed effort comes after Kansas approved a plan last week that would finance 70% of the cost of the new stadiums for the Royals and the Chiefs. You know, so both. 70%. And now Missouri's coming back to compete. Now listen to me, Chicago Bears. You want to get this done? Quit playing around with Aurora and Arlington Heights,
Waukegan,
and someone's backyard in Highwood. You need to engage Indiana. This is how this will get done. Put this law, and Illinois will then step up. Pritzker will come with the dough. They're not going to let you leave. That's what you got to do. It's happening in real time right now. Kansas came in. Missouri was like, F you, no, we're not doing that.
Get out of here, Kansas.
They told the Chiefs and the Royals, no. Royals want to have a downtown stadium, a la the White Sox. People were like, no, I like the K. What the hell's wrong with it? We got a huge scoreboard. We got fountains. It's a little bit of a drive out, great parking lots, tailgate. No. The 18,000 people that go to the K each night, we ain't paying for you to come downtown. The Royals suck, even though they don't suck this year. Chiefs, yeah, you're good too. You guys can pay for that. You're the damn ass Chiefs. You can afford it. Kansas comes flying in. We'll pay for it. We got you. Now Missouri Governor Mike Parsons got to come back in and be like, yeah, hey, we'll have a competitive offer. This sucks, by the way. The team should be paying for this. It shouldn't go to the taxpayers. Absolutely sucks. But how do these things get done? That's how it gets done. You want to get this done, Kevin Warren? Carm's advice to you once again: engage Indiana.
It's an interesting approach, and obviously it's going to get some kind of reaction, like what we're seeing in Missouri and Kansas. You think hypothetically, the Bears are going to move to Indiana? Will there be more Bears fans in Indiana or Colts fans in Indiana?
Listen, all the Colts fans will be like, screw you, Anthony Richardson, my ass. I'm going for Caleb.
Boom.
I'm going to Hammond. I'm going to Gary. I'm going to Braggs's cul-de-sac region. And look, I get it. Will Bears fans who live in Arlington Heights will they buck up and make the trip to across the border? Well, I don't know, but somebody will.
Yeah,
Stadium's gonna be full.
Regardless,
Bears fans everywhere, brother.
They travel. Always travel well.
They will fill that. They will fill that up. And Noah D, who apparently now is our Northwest Indiana expert on the show, I'm going to officially make you that, says he knows zero Colts fans in Northwest Indiana. We don't. Of course, they're all Bears fans. I mean, come on. Why the hell would you not? We live in Indiana, but they're Cubs fans, they're Sox fans, they're Bears fans, they're Hawks fans, they're Bulls fans.
Makes sense.
I mean, this is what it is. So, shout out, by the way, to the CHGO Blackhawk show, just crushing it with an early show today. Yeah. Free agency. Clicked it on.
Building over there.
Numbers are just fantastic. Congrats to those guys. A
lot of hard work.
Like, what the hell is that? What's going on in here? Oh, yeah, right. I got it. Hockey free agency. I'm an expert.
That's why we do this show.
Yeah.
We do this show. They do that show.
Yes. Correct. So I'm just here to get things done. I don't know how I give myself a better ability to negotiate the stadium deal than I do to have stop football fans from paying for every time football's on TV. So we keep on getting juice as they're coming after us. Like that's just it's no fun. I can't stop it. We're gonna be paying $20 for a beer in 3 more years, and that's just the way it is. People are gonna do it. I know. Well, did you buy anything up at American Family Field? Hypocrite,
I did.
Right
Actually,
here.
I did.
Hypocrite.
Yeah.
Hypocrite. I paid $8 for a brat because that's the only time that I eat brats is up there. It was straight delicious, although my stomach went immediately on the fritz. But I paid it.
I bought a beer too.
Yeah, when I did the 999 challenge, I think it was $154.
Oh my god!
$154 for what's 999? 9 hot dogs and 9 innings
and 9 beers.
And 9 beers.
Yeah,
you did that.
I did that. It was a company event. I did that.
Yeah.
What company event? This
company? CHGO, yeah. You work here, you know?
Was I here when that happened?
I don't know.
I didn't. I couldn't make that one either.
No, but was it like I wasn't here for the
You might not have been
6
here
months.
yet. Yeah, you might not have been.
I don't remember no 999.
Yeah, I did it.
Were you the only one who did that, Steven, or did anybody else participate?
Just me. Yeah.
How? I mean, once you got to that 9th hot dog in the 9th inning with the 9th beer.
Well, actually, I did it in 7 innings.
Oh.
Yeah.
You had 9 hot dogs in 7 innings?
And 9 beers.
And 9 beers.
I'll say the beer was actually harder than the hot dogs.
I bet. Yeah, I can see that.
I thought they were 12 ounce. They were 16. Surprise.
Sounds like something waiting to happen later.
All right.
What's the driving range after? I was good.
I'm impressed, Steven. Congratulations.
But yeah, I mean, going back to your point there, like that's a lot of money to do. And that honestly, White Sox price is not nearly as bad as NFL prices.
True.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Soldier Field is pricey as hell.
You gotta budget your money for that.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into because everything is money.
Yeah.
Money.
As we oh wow, right on time. This guy is just a force of nature. As we're gonna hear from our guy, my hero, our leader, the man who creates more signs than anybody of all time, who is playing hurt today, joining us, and it will be, I believe, in studio tomorrow. Gregory P. Allen Braggs joining us now after our incident up in Milwaukee on Saturday. Gregory, thanks for making time for us here. How you feeling, brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. Can you guys hear me good?
We got you loud and clear, buddy. You look fantastic, adorable as ever. So here, let's just take us into the moment of what happened. The Cubs won. It was a miracle. You're heading down. You guys took a picture. 5-3 winner. Everybody thought that Hector Neris was going to blow it. He didn't. And then go from there.
Yeah, we were, making our way out. We actually saw a viewer of the show. His name is escaping me right now, but he came over and said hi to us. So I ran over and gave him a couple stickers and thanked him for tuning in. And so then I went to go find Nick and Jake as we were heading towards the escalator. And so then I was just kind of giving some Brewers fans some crap. We were chanting "Let's go Bears," and it was good-hearted, conversation. And so we start to go down the escalator, and everybody's kind of trading some jokes towards the Bears-Packers rivalry. And then all of a sudden, the whole escalator shook and made a noise. And it's very similar to like when you're on an elevator and it shakes just for a second and kind of scares you. I think everybody's had that moment where you're like, oh. And then 2 seconds later, it became a free fall. And like before you know it, now you're calculating how fast you're going down this slope. It was just a surreal moment.
So hold on. Did it go down a level or like
No. Yeah, that's the misconception from some people. When we're saying a free fall, the stairs didn't drop out or anything. It essentially came off the gears and became a roller coaster heading downhill. If you ever were on the Shockwave at Six Flags, it's like hitting the peak and then the big drop. That's what it became. And so everybody at the bottom of the escalator is starting to trip and fall over each other, which turned into a big pile of people. And as more people are coming down this out of control roller coaster, the speed of the escalator was picking up, because when it first released and let loose, so to speak, it was slightly fast. But then as we started to get to the bottom, it was going really fast. Like you were bracing for impact. And for me, there was an old lady right in front of me, an elderly lady who was very similar to like my mom's size and age. And she was grabbing both sides of the escalator, kind of bracing, and I could feel her fear. I was scared myself, trying to calculate what I'm about to do. And so then my instinct just kind of kicked in to put my arms underneath her arms. And my thought was, instead of completely running her over once we hit the bottom, because I'm watching everybody like dominoes fall over each other, that I would just try to lift her a little bit as we hit the bottom. So this is all in a split second. So I'm just like, all right, when we hit the bottom, I'm going to lift her a little bit. Honestly, I kind of wanted to push her over the pile, but I mean, that attempt was kind of silly to even think I could do. We essentially both fell into the pile, and then I fell over her. And then as I turned around to put my arm out, I got ran over by the next people. And it was just like I said, a complete domino effect. And that's when, a couple guys went through my knee, a couple people landed on Nick. And, as it ended and the final people kind of fell into the pile, that's when the screams let out. And that for me was probably the most nauseating part of the entire thing, because once your adrenaline kind of slowed down for a second, and now you're realizing what just happened, and you're hearing people screaming. And Luke Stuckmeyer shared a picture. There's blood everywhere, there's people everywhere. It was a very traumatic experience. It was just one of those things where you're like, wow, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah, and Brett, like when it first jolted, I don't know, maybe I've seen like too many social media posts like on like escalators for some reason, but I thought it was about to bottom out where people kind of get sucked into the escalator. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. So I was on the railing. I was going to jump off. Like I was like, this
You
is
were
not.
literally straddling it.
I jumped on one side of the escalator, and I'm like, well, I'm not. This is not how I'm going.
Right.
Fuck that. I'm sorry. Like I'm about to jump off, but by the time I'm like thinking about that, you're already going down, and then like you said, Greg, you're on the ground. Then people constantly keep getting piled on top of you. So
you were on like the black part of it, scooting on down.
Yes. Yep.
And
so Luke is the one that saw you doing that. So that was actually a pretty athletic move on your behalf. That thought crossed my mind, but on each side of the escalator, because like most escalators, you have a down one and you have an up one, and then there's like a median, like a platform. But this is just a down escalator, so there's nothing on each side. So if you were to try to go over the side, you would just fall down to the next level. So there was really nowhere to go, and so it was just just an insane moment. But credit to you, Nick. No surprise, you made the most athletic move there.
Well, I ended up in the same exact place everyone else did, on the ground with people on top, because by the time I was thinking, like, am I actually going to jump this? I was already towards the bottom, and like the pile was already piling up, and then people were on the back of my legs, and I end up getting like someone grabs my arms, is like pulling me from the bottom, but yeah, it was.
Well, and then of course,
crazy.
I mean, there was two elderly ladies, at least by my count. There was probably a few more, but two that I was completely aware of, and they probably got it the worst of anybody. One in particular that was at the very bottom of the pile, and she had blood all over. She had hair caught in the tracks. At least it seemed like it. And our whole concern, and Luke brought this up too, like everybody kind of stopped what they were doing to try to pull this pile off, because we wanted to help the people at the very bottom. And honestly, we all thought, I think most of us thought somebody had died. And so once we got to the bottom, and luckily, I think the overall sentiment, as unlucky and awful of an experience as it was, we were all very lucky that it wasn't worse, whether it was the people on it or, in general. It was just, we all kind of lucked out to a degree. And so I'm just like, there's a lot of emotions that we have after experiencing that. But my overall, because I'm always try to look on the bright side of things, like I'm just very grateful that none of us got hurt worse. Nobody died. Nobody was paralyzed. I didn't get hurt worse. Like, yeah, I'm dealing with injury, but it could have been much worse. And, there's so many other things, like my family, my mom. Normally I talk my mom into coming to all these events. Anybody that's ever come to our draft parties or our tailgates, you've seen my mom. She comes to a lot of this stuff. And for the first time in the whole CHGO, my time here, I talked her out of coming because it was going to be such a long day. And I just knew it would be a long day for her. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful my wife and my daughter weren't there. I'm grateful that Hogue was with us with his son, James. He left an inning before that. I'm grateful for that James wasn't caught in this and Hogue wasn't caught in this. So there's it was a crazy experience. We're a sports media company. All of us that watch this show, we go to a lot of sporting events. So I do think it's important to kind of talk about what happened, because we all take escalators down, from stadiums. The United Center does a good job of kind of, monitoring how many people are on at a time, and they kind of cut you off. Okay, let these people go down, and then the next people go down. And I think all stadiums should consider that as part of their process. And it's easy for us, like Nick said earlier, to take those simple things like riding an escalator for granted. But we all, as patrons and people that run the stadiums, I think we all have to think about this stuff, because even if it's a moment that's few and far between, it's machines. Things are bound to break. It's going to happen again, but there's things we can do to try to avoid situations like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Greg, I know, like, in your tweet yesterday, like, taking escalators, will you think twice about it?
Yeah, 100%. There's no question. Will I never take an escalator again? I don't know. I wouldn't go that far at this point, but there's no question. Every time I get in an escalator the rest of my life, I will think about that moment. I think that's just natural instinct. When we get on the elevators at our office, anybody that's ever rode it with me knows I get a little nervous. At the end of the night, if I'm by myself, when I ride the elevator down, or when I leave the office, I won't ride the elevator down, because it makes me nervous. If something were to happen and nobody's there, you know, and I think those are natural, you know, human instincts. And so now that this malfunction happened, yeah, that those vibes only up the ante in terms of that. So, you know, it's something, and I will never, and I'm not a escalator expert, so I don't know the exact source of this problem. There's probably, you know, multitude of issues that cause this, but at the same time, I will never get on an escalator that is that packed again, ever. It's just common sense, like, to me, even if somebody comes out later and says that wasn't the direct source of the problem.
Hey, were you able, last detail here, were you able to stay on one stair going down? Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you were.
Yeah,
okay.
The stairs, you know, stayed level. So
Yeah.
like you're just like riding this thing like a scooter going downhill or something, you know, like, so yeah, I think some people did kind of fall under, you know, and trip a little bit, but yeah, it is, you know, like I said, it was crazy, you know, we were all there, you know, just having fun, and you know, it was kind of a bizarre thing, but I'm grateful for all. I mean, you know, it's just something that, you know, obviously we all hope never happens again, but I'm just grateful that it wasn't worse, and we'll move on. I'm looking forward to training camp and everything else. My life's not going to end, you know, and it's like, this is my first experience. I mean, like 99.5% of everybody has been very supportive and, you know, empathetic, but it is kind of interesting to watch, you know, the cynics and some of the people, like, you know, acting like, you know, a victim shaming almost. So it's like you kind of experience a little bit of that, you know, where people are trying to see through. But I can promise you, man, it was a pretty traumatic experience, and something I will never want to have to go through again. But, you know, you also realize that anything can happen. And I came home and I hugged my daughter pretty tight that night. And you can think that that's dramatic or not, but you know what? I mean, I'm not going to take, you know, everybody knows I live my life to the fullest, but, you know, it just kind of goes to show you that you got to take every minute you have for, you know, and treasure them.
Yeah. No, on that note, and thanks for making time today, Greggy, and good luck. Good luck. I know you're seeing some orthos and whatnot at some point here, but I want you to say, get in your put on your football, put on the helmet that you wore on the phenomenal video with, you don't really have to do this. It was just in spirit, but now you are looking for it, so maybe we'll put it on. Okay, great. There it is. Your Bears helmet is on. Close enough.
It's a little tight.
Okay. All right.
It's an old helmet. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep talking. I can hear you.
Yeah. I believe we discussed the fact that the last number 1 overall pick quarterback to win their first game was David Damn-ass Carr with the 2002 expansion Houston Texans. The Bears are a 4.5 point favorite. They've got the Tennessee Titans in 69 amazing days.
Nice.
Right.
A, is it a must win? And B, are you confident with your helmet on, despite the trauma of the weekend, that Caleb is going to get it done and join David Carr as a winner, as a number 1 overall pick in his first NFL game?
It absolutely is a must win. I said that the day the schedule came out, and I understand that's dipping into Meatball Island, but at the same time, you have 17 games on your schedule, and only so many of them, only a select handful of them, whether it's the Panthers, you know, or whatever, are games that you are prohibitive favorites on paper. And to me, I identify that with the Bears and Titans. And then also you add the fact that it's a home game. And we already have one less home game because one of them will be in London. So it's paramount, especially when you look at the second half of the schedule and what the gauntlet that is. So if you're like me and somebody that wants this team to be in contention for a playoff spot in the second half of the season, you got to stack up the wins early, and you got to build momentum early, which means you got to win week 1 at home. You got the Texans on the road week 2. And the last thing you want for confidence of a young football team and a young quarterback specifically is to start a season potentially 0-2. So, but I do think they will win that game. I feel very good about how that matches up and how that lines up for the Bears. And so, it's going to be an exciting start to the season, I feel like, for Bears fans.
All
I agree with Hippie Nerd. Gotta win the games you're supposed to win.
Hippie Nerd's been on fire lately, and I think it's just important for me, mainly, just to get Braggs back in football mode here so I can feel like everything is normal. You look great. I know you and
the
Nick
only other thing we
ahead.
got to discuss, Carm, is the implications of how this affects the Bears season with what happened to us at Milwaukee, and I think it goes without saying that I want you to push me around Hallis Hall in a wheelchair. So that, I think that's my first demand, is that you are now my special assistant for how I get around. And when I need things, like if I need water or something, you've got to be the one to go get it. Because let's face it, Carm, the people are dying for my training camp coverage. Nobody cares what you're doing. We need you to assist me to make sure we can give the people the best coverage we possibly can. So I think that's the biggest effect this is going to have going forward.
Yeah, so listen, nobody was able to break down Chase Claypool's performance last year at training camp like you were, and we need that this year.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. You're absolutely right.
I mean, look, I've been working out, and in the spirit of everything that I've been putting out there, I would absolutely love to be the guy that wheels you around Hallis Hall.
Dynamic duo.
And
what's that video that Conan O'Brien always used to play? I think it's of Mac and Me, where he sends the kid off he sends the kid off the cliff in the wheelchair. That'll be Carm helping me here this summer.
I'll do whatever I can, considering the amazing partnership, friendship that we've developed here, and the trauma that you went through. And I do know that you're a guy that turns a negative into a positive, so I expect your rehab to be consistent and thorough, and I do expect you to come back thinner and stronger and better than ever on the back end of this. So I look forward to
you're right. I definitely try to turn negative and positive, because the first thing I said to Nick on our way back, I looked at him in the eyes and said, at least Caleb is okay, and that's all that matters.
That's frightening and beautiful at the same time. Greggy, you're in studio tomorrow. I am going on vacation. I will miss you, but I will be thinking of you. Not
too much, but just enough.
We'll hold down the fort. Me and Nick. No Hogue, no Carm. Looks like I got to make another sign for Carm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's thank you. I look forward to whatever you come up with, or stay on brand with just the old F Carm.
Same amount of letters, but just same amount of letters.
Any way you want to do it. All right, Gregory, for real, we're extremely happy you made it out okay. It was
Jesus.
it was a Saturday to forget. To never happen
sure.
again.
I mean, it was. Yeah, all of us. I mean, me, Nick, Jake, Sarah, Luke.
Our great listener, diehard Patrick Simmons. Best to him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a lot of us. So we, we're all lucky. Obviously it was an unlucky situation, but we can look on the bright side and find the silver lining and understand that ultimately we were all very lucky that it wasn't worse. So appreciate everybody's concern. No, we're not going to talk about this every day. I am looking forward to moving on with my life. I would much rather be in studio right now than dealing with the bullshit I got to deal with right now. So I am looking forward to having this as behind me as fast as possible. And we are less than 3 weeks, only 2 more weekends without training camp. So we got some fun things coming up here in the next couple weeks to get ready for that. And that is what we're thinking about here going forward.
Right. You are welcome to come out tonight. It is a big softball game. CHGO taking on Odyssey, who, of course, we beat in the championship last year. We're undefeated. They're undefeated. 8 p.m. We will be buoyed by my guy, Charlie the Bacon Guy, who has led us to the promised land. Charlie the Bacon Guy is the man, will forever be the man, and he's on our shirts as Nick is showing you. 8 o'clock, if you want to come on out. Not you, Greg, because you should be resting. CharlieTheBaconGuy.com, leading us to the championship. But Greggy, be well. We'll see you on the set tomorrow. All right.
Give me some Jordan voice to end the show. I'll be watching.
All right, you got it. No problem. We'll get to our diehards in a second, but let me do our supers. Pizzy Tola coming in with $5 here. Can't wait to start the best week at CHGO. Carm's vacation. Get Hogue back in here. We'll be right back. And all will be right in the world. Nick, we're going to need you. Pizzy Tola, I will miss you this week, buddy.
You guys are going to miss each other.
It's going to be tough. I don't know how I'm going to do it without my Pizzy Tola. Happy birthday to our guy, Alan Bober.
Let's go, Alan.
What's up, Alan? It's my 71st birthday today. I'm going with Nick's pick of 10 wins, and I will also predict that not only will the Bears win the division, but they will
sweep the division.
Oh, 6-0.
Alan, 71. Let's go.
Okay, Alan. That means that's okay. So that means you would be
6 wins right there.
4-7 against the rest of the league. Alan, you might want to up your win total if we're sweeping the division. You might want to top Nick's 10 wins.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to top Crystal. Hey guys, $9.99. So as far as paying for games, I'm a true believer that you pay for experiences. I'm not paying to watch football on the couch. I'm going to a bar or to the game. Love you guys.
I love that approach.
I love that approach.
Yeah.
It's like people, clothes and cars and diamonds and whatnot. Let me take a sweet vacation. Let me go out and have a great meal. Let me hang with my peeps. All that. Another $9.99 from Crystal. I understand, Braggs. Praying for you all. I understand the trauma. I experienced an apartment fire a few years back, and I'll never forget it. Glad you guys are with us. Sending the love. Crystal's the best.
She is the best.
You just made me think of the time that I walked back to my Iowa City apartment, and I had one of the floors on a house. Me and my couple of different dudes were renting that thing over a couple of years. Came back one day, and there was a good. I'm like, why are all those fire engines outside down there? Oh. That's my house.
Oh no.
That's
sucked. Devastating.
It wasn't a huge fire, so they were able to. Took a couple of months.
Still.
Miraculously, I had a girlfriend at the time who allowed me to stay with her.
Oh wow, that's good.
So it all worked out. But that was that I can I can remember. Diehards. We got 3 new ones.
3 minutes.
In 3 minutes. All right, Jason. He's likable and he's powerful. He kills you with kindness, also his biceps. He's strong and he's gentle. There's nothing Jason can't do. Jason.
Like the horror, like the Jason movies?
No. Likable and powerful, kills you with kindness and his biceps. I'm thinking about Jason McKee, our guy. Patrick gets the job done with little fanfare. Year after year, day after day, minute after minute. Patrick is about consistency. But it's also a consistency, you know this, Patrick, with a fire in your belly that burns strong. Patrick
Kane.
Yeah. I was going Patrick Scales. And then Michael. Certainly. It's a rough weekend for Gregory. And there is no doubt that some weird-ass reporter put out something about my ex-wife and some BS carjacking over the weekend that ain't true. And thank God for my daughter Jasmine for setting the record straight. But Michael, I'm accurate, and I am unlike those with terrible sources because I got the best sources, and my source is me. And my source tells me that I, Michael, am the GOAT forever and a diehard. MJ, we appreciate you. Welcome in.
Amazing.
All right, we got to go. Nick, crush it.
Have fun on vacation, Mark.
Don't worry. You don't, carrying Greg through a show is.
Well, he's on one leg now.
Yeah, that's going to be a significant thing, but, I know for real you guys are going to do some phenomenal work this week. So crush and dominate, and Hogue will be back at some point, and I'll be back on the 9th. with Wimbledon stories. That's right. I'm going to Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Going across the pond. Tennis is on my mind, but I'm also going to be doing some scouting for our trip. TrueFanTravel.com for our trip to London in October. Steven, thanks for producing. We will see you tomorrow on the CHGO Bears podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.